Queen and fulfill the duties of the office according to law. So it's all very clear, it's through law that these offices are filled, and that's the standard. And the law, the Queen has told me, according to the people's respective law. Not their law, our law. We create the law, and we create that law in the courts. Now, what most people don't realise is how governance works and what governance is. So this is very important that people understand. The Bill of Rights, people say there's no constitution in the UK, but what does the word constitution mean? It means the source, the authority that created. So the Bill of Rights is the creation of the source of authority of those governing still today. And it's an incredible document, absolutely incredible. Okay. Honestly, all our solutions lie within the Bill of Rights. Why? Because they've had the same crap before. Okay. Nothing new under the sun. The Bill of Rights, first, what many people don't know, is the legal precedence to replace those governing when they're not fit for purpose anymore. That there, actually, is what the Bill of Rights says. Hang on, let me just backstep as well and talk about Magna Carta 1215, because a lot of people are familiar with Magna Carta 1215. And what people need to understand is the history. If you don't understand the context of history, okay, it doesn't always make sense. So, in those days, we had this thing called the divine right of kings. What that meant was, I made a decree that was the law. When I died, my laws actually died with me. So this changed in the Bill of Rights, okay? Because in the Bill of Rights they created the legal fiction, the straw man, whatever you want to call it, which gave perpetuity to Parliament assembled under which Acts of Parliament are filed. Therefore, we no longer had a situation where every king had to reconfirm or affirm the charters of the forest, various charters. So literally what happened before Bill of Rights was you created your law, it died with you, your successor would, okay, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, and would just carry forward what they wanted. Okay? So what we do have is Magna Carta 1297, which still has standing today, and that includes the right to trial by jury, which is Article 29 instead of in the original Article 39. It hasn't got anything to do with barons, because the barons actually saw this actually wasn't a brilliant deal, as good as they thought at the time. But the important thing is, we have the tools that people want from Magna Carta 1215. We actually have these tools available to us anyway, is what I'm saying. And what I'm trying to do is, if people can see we have these tools, we have a great toolbox, let's use the tools that we have available to us so that we can start to pull together. Okay? Because there's a huge amount of knowledge in all of these different places that people are doing. And we can pull, and we are starting to pull together. Okay? And really, things are starting to change quite a lot. So, governance is like this. And the Bill of Rights, so we've got the judiciary, okay, is promise number 2, creates the lawful judiciary. Promise number 1, sorry if you can't see, this is just a balance, okay? So I've just got a balance, judiciary in the middle. Promise number 1 creates governance. I promise to govern the peoples of blah, 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 according to their respective laws and customs. So this is governance, okay, of the people. Okay? And that there is how it should be. Those are the 3 parties. 2 people, any of us, are kings and queens. We're all kings and queens. If any of us have a dispute, we go to the independent judiciary, and that's where we sort out our problem to create our respective laws and customs. Governance in the Bill of Rights makes it absolutely clear. You've got 2 things. Parliament assembled, Who knows what Parliament assembled is? Anybody know what Parliament assembled is? I'm not British. Come on. Hmm?
And the House of Lords, both Lords.
House of Lords.
And the House of Commons.
House of Commons.
The Queen.
The Queen. Somebody's been reading. Okay. So let me just show you who they are. And let me just quickly see if I can. Because honestly, this is pretty simple stuff. If people choose to read.
I'm taking breaks.
Yeah, I just want to quickly finish. This is the last thing now. I just quickly want to. Okay.
Do you need
Okay,
internet?
I can't. No, don't worry about it. It's on here somewhere as well, but not where I can't. Okay. Remind me when you get to Act of Parliament. Okay, but when you go to an Act of Parliament, on legislation.gov.uk, there's all the legislations there. There's two types of legislation, right? Primary legislation and secondary legislation. So Parliament assembled is on the title page of an Act of Parliament. It tells you who the contracting parties are. This is all contract. It's Her Majesty, Excellent Her Majesty, the Lord Spiritual, i.e. the Church of England, the Lords Temporal, which is the House of Lords, and the Commons. Okay? So those are the four parties to that document who advised and consented. Remember we said meeting of the minds, advise and consent equals common law contract. So they've created duties, rights and obligations which they need to comply with. My name's not there, your name's not there. Nothing to do with you or me. So what that is Parliament assembled creates the authority for the actions of Her Majesty's government. Okay? Her Majesty's government is the servant of Parliament assembled. They don't tell Parliament assembled what to do. They don't tell you and me what to do. Okay? So in theory, Parliament assembled is ultimately controlled by the members of Parliament who in theory you vote for. And that's the illusion you need to break. They claim to be your representatives. Okay? So a representative needs authority. You the master, they the agent. They need your authority to take an action. And if you authorize them to take actions in good faith, they must do so in good faith. But it honestly doesn't matter. There is no contract. Okay? The reason there's no contract for them to do business there, they need to breach your contract, if there's even a voting contract, and swear allegiance to the monarch, who then is who they're working for. So that's the first thing. It gives you the structure, the Bill of Rights, as to how governance is carried out. The second important thing, there's words in there. Indubitable means not up for debate, Old English. Adjudged and taken, right? So those three words basically are telling us that what is written in there is beyond the authority of Parliament assembled, government and the judiciary. And the reason it's beyond that authority is because these are ancient, natural, inalienable rights, not only of the subjects, because when the crown was accepted by William and Mary, it was all of the people's rights. Okay? And Boris Johnson relied upon the Bill of Rights in 2019 with his prorogation judgment and said it's been absolutely affirmed this is rock solid stuff. Okay? So that's where we get our rights legally and lawfully should be enforced through those governments. Okay, so I think that's all that I want to do now.
How long is the break?
20 minutes. Yeah.